normally, we start the show every week with the last week in gaming. It's, for those who are unfamiliar, it's part late night talk show monologue, part news roundup that allows me to regurgitate the news while being snide and, if I'm lucky, funny. However, as I've been stating, this week is pre-recorded. I'm filming this over the weekend as I have to travel for my day job on Monday and will be unable to stream live. Or more specifically, I'll be in a hotel room that'll have awful Wi-Fi, and it's just for the best that I don't. Now, normally this would be okay, whatever, but by the time you're seeing this, I actually think we're due for some big news on Monday. See, rumor has it that Rockstar is putting out more of an official GTA 6 announcement tomorrow, or by the time you're watching this earlier today. And we all know for sure that Jeff Keighley will be sharing the nominees for the Game Awards, also known as the Video Upfronts. I'd comment on them, potentially even have a segment devoted to that whole thing. But in my timeline, it hasn't happened yet. Which brings me to a segment I am calling Next Week in Gaming. Interplay is the latest studio to be hit in the wave of budget cuts that have plagued the industry, laying off half its staff today, which leaves just one guy in a closet grasping at the Clay Fighter IP, calling it my precious. More Nintendo Switch 2 leaks arrive today, as patents now show it will have 2 detachable Wiimotes, a screen that splits into 4 tinier screens, wheels for easier movement across the table, and an IR camera that maybe someone will actually use this time. Potential launch games include the Super Mario Odyssey Collection, Splatoon 2 and 3 Remaster, and a new Smash Bros. Game that doubles the previous roster, but still doesn't include Waluigi. Call of Duty players discover that the new Modern Warfare 3 is actually just a one-to-one port of cameo Elements of Power. Fans blast Activision for being lazy and threaten to boycott the game before paying $100 for the definitive edition, making it the fastest-selling Call of Duty yet. IGN releases reviews for Mario RPG, Karmazoo, and Tic-Tac-Toe, giving them all a 7 out of 10. Rockstar finally announced that GTA 6 is in fact going to happen. They released a teaser image this morning that is, let's say, a silhouette of a car, a woman holding a bat, and a palm tree. Probably text that says coming soon, and an innocuous item like a beer bottle that, if you zoom in close enough, fans can find 3 pixels that either look like the release date or a blurry stick figure portrait of Don Cheadle. Either way, fans will be wrong, and we won't hear anything until the Game Awards, which no one will crash because we finally have news now. That said, backlash will spark for the teaser image for being too woke. Speaking of the Game Awards, gaming's Ryan Seacrest Jeff Keighley has posted the nominees this morning for us to vote on. This includes categories like Game of the Year, Best Story, Best Sports Game, Hottest Kiss, Least Offensive Use of Microtransaction, the Keighley Best Friend Participation Trophy, and the We Don't Showcase Women, but maybe this award will make up for it, Games for Change Award. And unsurprisingly, Tears of the Kingdom is nominated for all of them. He also hyped up musical guest Flyana Boss for performing their hit song Piranha Plants on Parade from Mario Wonder. The Mass Effect teaser we've already seen will air. And Richard Kind will show up because George Clooney said no to the That Celebrity Looks Lost spot of the night. And that was the next week in gaming. Let's see how close I actually am in the next couple of days. Until then, let's begin our show with the actual last week in gaming. Sony has officially dropped Twitter/X integration on their platform. Their first move, to go onto Threads and complain about how awful Twitter is. Now, to be specific, Sony is removing the API that allowed users to view content published on the social media site for the PlayStation, as well as post their trophies and content directly to the platform. Now, Sony hasn't directly said why they are suddenly dropping this feature, but right? Come on. Now, all congrats to Sony. They did the one thing we as a society have been threatening to do, but have been too afraid to commit to. Call of Duty fans are not happy with the latest entry single-player campaign and have begun review bombing the game on Metacritic. Problem is, they're bombing the wrong game. The new Call of Duty hasn't even launched yet, only releasing the campaign mode to those who have pre-ordered it. Fans are review bombing the 2011 Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Although, to their point, the game is so poorly slapped together that even their name is recycled content. All signs, once again, point to Activision being shitty. Obligatory picture of a dying beached whale. Obligatory point to Arcada Countdown. 49. How nice. Now, Bloomberg reported that the game was initially pitched to the developer as an expansion of Modern Warfare 2, but was then changed to a full-fledged sequel in order to fill the gap left behind by Call of Duty Vanguard being delayed. Granted, nobody told the PS5 this, as it is asking some players to insert the Modern Warfare 2 disc in order to play. Call of Duty is the only way I see myself advocating for the use of AI to replace people in games, because if a game's going to suck anyway, why bring people down with the ship? The campaign isn't the only sticking point. Modern Warfare 3 utilizes a new app launcher that's supposed to provide file size management, amongst other things. However, this file size management tool is also over 200 gigabytes of storage. That's like buying a 12-foot lead statue of Marie Kondo to remind you to declutter your nightstand. Now, to add to Call of Duty's bad press this week, an Arkansas mother is suing the media giant along with Epic, Microsoft, EA, and Ubisoft, claiming purposeful predatory monetization methods that have caused an overly addictive nature in their son. This has led to depression, physical ailments, a loss or lack of friends. Honestly, I think this kid is just in his late 30s. They also mentioned an inability to attend school, which, seriously, what is wrong with kids these days? Do what my generation did. Smoke weed in the park down the block while drinking Alizé from a flask you bought at Spencer's Gifts. So now, all seriousness, part of me rolls my eyes when we place the blame on gaming. Rarely does it ever feel like it's being treated with the right nuance, and often it's used as an excuse for the older generation to rail against something they don't understand. On the other hand, fuck Activision. Meanwhile, Epic is already in a legal battle with Google, as they are trying to prove that Google runs an illegal monopoly on the Google Play Store. Yeah, no shit. Of course they have a monopoly. It's the Google Play Store. It's their store, their phone, their ecosystem. That's how it works. I'm not here to defend Google, far be it from me, but that's like complaining that you own all the plates in your own home. Plus, you already tried this with Apple and failed pretty spectacularly. Thank God they laid off 830 people so they can have the smallest cock in a dick measuring contest. It's crazy. For as hugely successful and, I'll admit, fun as Fortnite can be, they are floundering everywhere else. Like the Epic Games Store, which hasn't been profitable for nearly 5 years since its launch. Now, Epic claims their goal is still growth over profitability, which is why they downsize their staff. But they are paying obscene money for exclusives, like a $146 million deal for Borderlands 3, and offering publishers an 88-12 revenue split as opposed to Valve's 70-30. Epic's the little brother constantly picking fights he can't win, and Fortnite is the older child. Hey, I'm sorry about him. Can I, show you a dance move or something? Do you want to watch Alien ride Goku's cloud with a pickaxe and just forget this ever happened? A From Software fan has modded Sekiro Shadows Die Twice by adding Malenia from Elden Ring as a boss into the game. Now, many know Malenia as the hardest battle in Elden Ring, which personally I think is subjective. The hardest battle for me was anyone with a weapon. According to a Best Buy listing, Silent Hill 2 Remake will be getting a special Pyramid Head origin story for fans who pick it up. Finally, we can answer the questions that everyone has been dying to know. How does he carry a weapon with such small arms? Does he take the mask off to brush his teeth, or does he just kind of reach up in there? Is that a mask or a hat? And why does it look like a rusty Bang & Olufsen vacuum? Valve surprised the world and dropped a new version of the Steam Deck out of the blue with the Steam Deck OLED. In one day, the internet was flooded with embargo releases of every gaming news site showing reviews of the new upgrade. And, I don't know, I never received one. So suddenly, an average of 10 viewers per video isn't good enough for you. Wow. Just wow. Now, on top of the OLED screen, a new deck has improved battery life, the option to wake the deck from the controller, better Bluetooth, and the ability to destroy all semblance of self-control. And oh, look, I think I just ordered one. Damn. Naughty Dog's Vinit Agarwal posted a cryptic tweet stating, "Yes, I'm still working on that game," leading to most to believe he means The Last of Us multiplayer that had been delayed indefinitely. Primarily because Last of Us is the only game that Naughty Dog actually makes. Now, despite the disastrous development limbo the game finds itself in, Sony is still committing itself to the live service market by releasing only 6 of the 12 games in the works by the end of 2025. I'm sorry, only 6? The market can barely sustain what it has. I'm not sure I can name 6 live service games that will last to the end of 2025. I can name 12 that have failed. Anthem, Ninjala, Knockout City, Rumbleverse, Gundam Evolution, Final Fantasy VII First Soldier, Spellbreak, Marvel's Avengers, Chocobo GP, Hyperscape, Splitgate, and Suicide Squad. Alright, that one hasn't been released yet, but it's basically a dead game. As a matter of fact, America's next top Harvey Weinstein, David Zaslav, actually doubled down on a commitment to live service games, despite being 0 for 2 with Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad. He even made it very clear that single-player experiences will no longer be in the cards. Experiences like Hogwarts Legacy that they produced, which was still outselling brand new games months after its launch, or the well-lauded Mortal Kombat 1 that they produced, where the only actual complaint about the game is how much the cosmetics cost. Or Lego Skywalker Saga that they helped produce, which surpassed all previous console games in the series to date with 3.2 million copies in 2 weeks. But no, by all means, invest in the game that was so poorly received you pushed it back twice. Sony too, it doesn't make sense. Spider-Man 2 sells more than 5 million copies in 11 days. God of War Ragnarok sold 5.1 million in a week. Why are you investing in something that 3 companies can do well 15% of the time by flooding the market that preys on the only true finite resource, time? In slightly more positive news, BioWare dropped a Mass Effect teaser this week to announce that they are in fact working on a Mass Effect game. By the time it actually releases, the game will be set in the present. Steam is possibly going to add a feature that will allow you to hide certain games from your public Steam library. Finally, you don't need to be embarrassed by the fact that you play My Cute Commissar, or 3D Custom Lady Maker, or Redfall. Actually, one of those is not even a real game. What's that? Oh, Redfall is real. Oh, never mind. Okay. The last vestiges of what made Overwatch great have dissipated into the sunset like Junkrat's raggedy-ass shirt dissolving under grease and grime, as Activision has officially shuttered the OWL. Honestly, I actually think this kind of stinks. I was really into the idea of an esport using the same model as the NFL. It was a great idea, but lofty goals, poor leadership, high spend, poor leadership, a U.S. legal probe, a lack of fans. Oh, no, it wasn't a lack of fans. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Poor leadership brought the league down to where we see it today. Now, Toronto Defiant owner Adam Adamau posted a beautiful AI-generated piece of art, truly representing all aspects of the Overwatch community. The male and female player showcasing the diversity of Overwatch, hand-holding showing how the game brought everyone together, and a giant flaccid chode representing Bobby Kotick. And that is the last week in gaming. Guys, stick around, stay to it. I'm going to take a break, but I'm just going to pass on to it right here, as next up, we take a look at how Nintendo is going Hollywood. Be right back.